Smart greetings from the CPTM, Commonwealth Partnership for Technology Management, Smart Partners Hub in London. Today is the beginning of August, but it is also the beginning of the new phase in the Smart Partnership Movement's focus on the integrated initiatives with the main outcome of leveraging the value of data through smart partnership for socio-economic transformation. Last week of July, we released the hybrid compilation of the background which will be used for the initiation of this new phase in the Smart Partnership Movement interactions. And today I just wanted to follow that introduction which I made on behalf of the Council of Patrons and Advisors, and in particular the chair of the Smart Partnership Movement, with the very specific aspects of the initiative, which hopefully from end of July 2018 up to June 2020 we are going to progress. The three things that I would like to talk about today, and which are the basis of engagement into this focused smart partnership interaction, are the following. Taking forward the signals and the seeding of the ideas and actions from the end of June interaction of the central banks with national statistics and standards. Then about the how the Smart Partners inclusive growth initiative and interactions with a very intensive and systematic approach for the next 2 years could contribute to and could be engaged in the overall national economic transformation in countries which are part of Smart Partnership Movement. And the last point I will touch in summary, we will go more in detail next week, is in what is a pattern of this interaction that is envisaged, and in what way the various Smart Partners hubs and national frameworks could emerge. So, number one, taking forward signals and seeds or seeding of the ideas and the tasks that emerge from the interaction at the end of June here at the hub. This particular compilation offers something which is not available usually. And if one that is a smart partner or becoming a smart partner or a member of CPTM wish to experience a real-time interaction with governors in Southern Africa, with a chief executive or leading figures in national statistics, National Bureau of Standards, leading individuals or chief executive of digital companies, and leading academics in data science, then you are trying to use this particular compilation of references with webcast as they happened, an interaction of smart partners, not any other individuals that they've been invited simply for a one-off event. So this particular compilation is not new to the Smart Partnership movement. It is improved and put together in the last so many years, but it is particularly valuable right now when specifically things need to happen in very focused institutional arrangements at the national level. So most valuable, and what if one could say how much would cost something like this if one was to purchase it? First of all, you cannot purchase it. Once, because there is a lot of trust, a lot of intellectual equity built in, and access, above all, to smart partners that would be able to help you to navigate. So the central bank governors, the few of them, but on behalf of those in East Africa, those in Central Africa through Cameroon, those in Southern Africa through Swaziland and Zimbabwe, they have been first of all reflecting or taking forward the kind of things that they've been able to do following the think tanking they had and further interaction since last year in 2017 from and with the hub and the smart partners. And what came out was that tremendous progress within, for instance, Swaziland and Southern Africa. Swaziland central bank, the governor, was very confident that having been inducted directly into, a number of years ago, into the development of the Bitcoin and then crypto assets and then a number of other things that emerged alongside the Bank of England, alongside other central banks. Since last year, they were very interested to set up, to emerge a fintech hub, a financial technology hub, which will be the point of reference for any developments that are taking place within Swaziland, Southern Africa, and within the Smart Partnership movement. This is as one of the features of the reflections that he made, that is the governor, Majosi Sithole. Majosi Sithole is a CPDM companion and is involved in the Smart Partnership movement since 20 to 25 years ago, having been before Minister of Finance, currently Central Bank, and governor, and who knows what else in the future. But he represents one of the best examples of a unique smart partner involved in this new initiative for the next 2 years, as a point of reference and as an action-oriented governor who is able both to understand, to ask questions, take forward, influence, and navigate. So similarly, the governor of Central Bank of Uganda, Professor Mutabile, has been reflected on the kind of things that are taking place in financial inclusion in Uganda, which advanced in a most surprising way, and the kind of undertaking they have in trying to see in what way the current developments in cryptocurrency, crypto assets, blockchain technology overall could in one way or another be understood better, and then risks being taken and advantage also of it, not only in Uganda but is also alongside his colleagues in East Africa and probably in Africa overall. The deputy governor in Zimbabwe, Mlambo, also stated that Zimbabwe, which currently is going through a re-envisioning process, Zimbabwe is ready to undertake the advantages that the digital currency and the developments in the digital landscape is offering, the developments are offering, and this is based on a lot of already available human resource which are educated, as well as digital infrastructure that exists in Zimbabwe. So Cameroon, through the representative of the Office of the President, Dr. Boniface Nkobane, was particularly reflecting on the advantages that the digital landscape, specifically related to financial inclusion, but also engaging statistics and national standards, would have in forwarding the Vision 2035 in Cameroon. The main discussion which followed the reflections of how central banks and have been progressing since last year within the Smart Partnership Group. The main discussion was nevertheless around three main issues. One was headed accelerating learning and relearning, and the other one was about leveraging, measuring and navigating, and the last one was liberating data. Since the overall preoccupation of any government, any private sector, any academic, any youth or old or civil servant is to do with understanding the data, I would like to suggest that you would start in looking and listening to Professor David Hand. David Hand is very clearly setting up again, as he did in the last 3 years, the scene in relation to why the data has a value and how one could liberate, in other words, making use of the value of data. And he does make the point that all this is taking place and will take place in an accelerated way because of the advances in computer, both hardware, software technologies, and which brought in three key dimensions. One was the ability to capture data, which is unprecedented, and second is the ability to store the vast quantities of data, and the third one is the ability to manipulate, process, analyze vast quantities of data in highly sophisticated ways, and to extract meaning and uses of it. Now, therefore, I highly recommend you that if you want to kind of explain why the cryptocurrencies or crypto assets companies or Bitcoin fury or blockchain technology fashion, one would say, why that is taking place, one needs to go down to understanding the issue of why the data became such an important, probably essential, critical issue in any national context. Doesn't matter if it is a small country, large country, African country, Caribbean, developed country, or large country, etc. So these are three key basic issues. Obviously, the acceleration of digital landscape meant, in fact, since last year, that the blockchain, for instance, technology is more and more understood and is applied in, or its features are applied and brought into almost any aspect of life. In 2 years' time, so by 2020, there will be a matter of course that if you speak about trade and how trade is facilitated, blockchain technology will be part of it. And it doesn't matter which part of the country and which part of the globe that will take place. The blockchain technology implies, as we know, decentralization, implies no borders, and implies quite a number of possibilities that are being explored, are being understood, but still to happen. So the 2018 to 2020 period is essential for any national context to pick up the applications of it. Why are the blockchain technologies looked into by international standard organizations, by International Telecommunication Union, just to name two of them, is because of the strategic value of blockchain technology. And this has been emphasized in this particular discussion, which you have, and you can hear from the horse's mouth, so to speak, about how the issues of blockchain technology have been raised among, and could be raised in similar way in any national situation were you to put together a central bank, a digital technology specialist or blockchain technology specialist, technologist, Bureau of Standard, and or national statistics, if you put them together. Now, the developments beyond the blockchain technology are already the seeds of what is taking place, has been mentioned, and is very much emphasized in this particular replication of the interaction, and that is all to do with the machine learning and the artificial intelligence. So if one is to understand the application of blockchain technology, at the same time one needs to understand already the penetration of artificial intelligence and machine learning that is taking place in most of the service sectors. As is referred to, and as it was mentioned during the interaction at the end of June, the servitization of any service that is taking place is here to stay and is enabled by step-by-step applications of artificial intelligence and machine learning. The main issue that and focus, which will be also probably the major preoccupation and effort that will be required is not as much as about the technology, the digital technology, blockchain and artificial intelligence, as it is about the business models, the models that are new and different, cooperative models that bring in new legislative frameworks, new regulatory frameworks with them for that to be realized. A reflection on the legislation, new type of legislative frameworks that need to be designed in each national context in relation to the very rapid penetration of blockchain technology, crypto assets, and any aspects to do with financial technology in any country. The Maltese leading figure in lawyer, Dr. Max Ganado, is one of the individuals who did not only try to use what usually some of the best lawyers do, use the legal frameworks that exist and try to offer solutions to the Parliament to consider in relation to the digital and virtual currency. But he has been reflecting on the fact that if you look at the blockchain technology, is a different type of technology, or distributed ledger technology as it's called, because it is a cooperative type of arrangement. So the legal framework for such a new legal persona requires quite a lot of innovation within the legal framework itself. So, if one is thinking in terms of advancing and progressing the application of blockchain technology to widely in the economy, as well as to specifically the financial sector, there is no way without trying to undertake for the next 2 years a very thorough, not mechanical reflection and thinking about the legislation and regulatory framework in the country. So this is one of the main seed that has been planted through the for the next 2 years, and I was assured by Dr. Max Ganado, and there will be other colleagues of his from Malta, and that will be ready to assist any of the smart partners who will be undertaking to initiate what they did in Malta. The second part, as essential as the accelerating, was about measuring the economics, the economic statistics, which has been impacted by the development of digital and data technologies. And why that was emphasized was because the economic transformation, it requires to be understood in what way it benefits or it doesn't from the unstoppable penetration of blockchain technology and fintech technology, etc. Now, there are new measures that have to be devised, new ways of coming up with these statistics, and probably new aspects of economics dynamics that need to be measured. That was the discussion that was brought in by the Office of National Statistics, by Jonathan Athow, on behalf actually of all the Chief Executive of National Statistics that are involved with us in the last few years, among others, is Dr. Albina Chua. And you will see the kind of, if you listen to this, the kind of steps they are taking in the UK ONS, and they are ready to share with the other colleagues and to progress in the next 2 years, alongside the, for instance, new economic statistics that will be offered to the central banks, as well as to treasuries, and etc. Thinking behind the new type of measures is being done obviously through a very specialized, focused think tank, a Center for Excellence, that also has been evolved by the Office of National Statistics. And Rebecca Riley, Dr. Rebecca Riley, explained the kind of things that they are undertaking to produce and to share with the other colleagues as necessary and as required, and probably not only in UK context, because again this is new thinking which is valid for any of the national contexts, particularly those who are in the Commonwealth countries and who share the same type of institutional frameworks. Now, one of the major benefit of the data analytics is actually what is referred to is the data visualization. So the notion of data is quite abstract. So the new type of measures are able, economic statistics, are able to be visualized in a way that it hasn't been ever before, except through graphics and etc. Now, a leading figure, international leading figure in data visualization, who actually came from a National Statistics Office of National Statistics, that is Dr. Alan Smith, who is the head of data visualization, the newly unit established of the well-known and respected Financial Times. He was able to share with the colleagues about the new impetus that data visualization has on reaching out with factual, but beyond just factual, with understanding patterns, beginning conversations, and asking right questions. One of the things that is already taking place is that, for instance, in the Bank of England, already data visualization unit has been initiated just about, and Lindsay, the professional who is in charge of that, also shared with the governors and those present how they want to go about it. But Dr. Alan Smith has a seminal intervention about how data visualization, not just for the central banks, for the governments and the private sector at the national level, can be employed because of the data. And same time, we could not, and the smart partners could not forget that all this issue related to leveraging value of data, that it is blockchain technology applied to trade, etc., to financial sector, to health, to industry, that has to happen in tandem with the development of data centers to the data, the digital infrastructure. Otherwise, there isn't an intrinsic ability for within a country to leverage the value of data. So here are just a few of the signals and seeds that will evolve in the next 2 years, but to keep up with the evolution and the developments, since they are interconnected, the Smart Partners Hub is able weekly, probably daily, to pick up signals from smart partners and from the interactions that we have, like it is today, through what one refers to as either smart partners reading tips as relevant to taking forward these signals, through webcasts, podcasts, and through identifying specific conferences more relevant than others, which all feed in and they are focused to this particular three integrated inclusive initiatives. So it's happening today. When I finish this particular webcast, there will be listed a number of reading tips, a number of issues in a calendar worldwide, which we would attract your attention, so that daily and weekly you are being guided, or you have a point of reference out of the millions of emails and books and newspapers every day that you are seeing, so that one is continuously focused and continue to pick up, to spot signals and make use of them. Above all, in the last part of the discussion at the end of June, there was what was called anchoring, and the leading figures and CPTM companions such as Honorable Hausiko of Namibia, most respected in the Smart Partnership movement, taking forward President Masires and of course President Uyoma spirit, together with Minister of Lesotho, Minister Tsolo, who is part and parcel of this integrated initiative since last year. They've been trying to anchor all these various signals into what is called this Leveraging Value of Data initiative for the next 2 years, requesting that the CPTM Smart Partners Hub would pull together all these various webcasts and real-time interactions and forward them to all the Council of Patrons and Advisors of the Smart Partnership Movement, and in particularly requesting the chair of Smart Partnership Movement to navigate for the next 2 years the implementation, the carry forward in as many countries in the movement as possible. This 2 years envisaged focused smart partnership interaction, which is different from a project, is taking place through smart partners networks of leading influential individuals. This undertaking obviously on the way will have impacts as you go along. It is not that it will start somewhere and it will finish somewhere else. It's that ongoingly it will have an impact. Now, how would one map this systematically? And of course, it's based on the what happened up to now on the dynamics that the Smart Partnership Movement and CPTM is putting in place in the way smart partners are used to interact as different from any other type of formal interactions or conventional that they have. And of course, it is taking place through the will take place through ongoing think tanking, but this time the think tankings will be focused on those issues that are signals that are being picked up and selected in relation to value of data, which are specifically reflected into the common interest of central banks, Bureau of Standards, national statistics, national visions, and of course with digital technology, infrastructure, institutions that such as cybersecurity and so on, that it is in that country. So one could see about in 2018, 2019, could envisage about, based on the last dynamics, last year's dynamics, about 3 integrated think tanking that will take place, and they will be very much part and parcel of the carrying forward of this 2 years focused overall initiative strategy. And those probably will take place most likely at the CPTM Smart Partners Hub in London as a neutral place, as an avant-garde development, but they will be focused, and they will be picking up those kind of issues of technology developments that within the initiative is being required. So there will be about 3 think tanking in 2018-19, and another probably 3 think tanking of this kind 19-20. Now the think tankings will have to be kind of picking up issues from the similar type of discussions, which we don't call them refer to them as think tanking. We call them more open house type of activities and interactions at the national level. And obviously there are so many countries and national frameworks which are to emerge in relation to leveraging value of data. And we put a target of about at least 10 national frameworks to emerge, which are decentralized from, they are mirrors of Smart Partners Hub. But the Smart Partners Hub in London is not a national framework, is mainly used for think tanking, for maintaining and developing networks, making sure that daily and weekly there is access to the new expertise required, and that it is maintained a smart partnership ethics based on the Smart Partnership Movement's manifesto. So this is what it's all about, but obviously the joint executive group of the Smart Partnership Movement, having requested that we brief urgently in detail and we ask guidance from the chair of the Smart Partnership Movement, they really requested that in addition to these things that will take place in 2 years, at least 1 or 2 smart partnership dialogues focused on leveraging the value of data should take place. And that is what is all about the undertaking of the strategy of the CPTM and Smart Partnership Movement from today onwards, from August 2018 to 2020 and beyond. So very much all these things are based on entrepreneurial spirit. It's not based on a bureaucratic, technocratic or commercial. It is not going to be a blind kind of alley, only the ins and out of blockchain technology or fintech, doesn't matter how much they are valuable. There are a number of things that are taking place alongside that. In materials, in graphenes, in 3D printing, and of course in many other issues which will be going along with the leveraging value of data. But the focused approach is essential so that there is a big jump in the transformation through insights that one can get and develop in the country. And with that, we hope to approach now each and every country, and we hope that we will start as a movement to focus on some country activity following the think tanking that already started as part of the leveraging value of data in Uganda, in Namibia, in Swaziland, in Zimbabwe, as soon as they get over the current preoccupation that they have, or in any other countries, in Jamaica, where not only central banks but Bureau of Standards or national statistics in Tanzania, they are trying to stimulate national frameworks. And hope we hear from you.